So hey, we're back. I'm here with Dr. Joel Crosson, one of our great sports medicine primary care docs, and we were thinking about what else we could talk about when it comes to everybody being at home, especially our youth athletes and our high school, college, et cetera athletes. And one of the biggest problems that we see that leads to injury is the lack of leg strength and coordination. And Jill, I know this is a big thing for you because you're so involved with the female athlete, especially. And we know that female athletes have a much higher incidence of ACL injuries than their male counterparts in even equivalent sports. But so I want you to talk about what you're looking for and what you think is the important points about squatting and really what we're looking for, what we're looking at when we say, okay, this person is doing it right, she has the control, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, sure. So, we talk about the importance of just being able to do an air squat. So when I use the word or the term air squat, essentially just body weight. I'm not talking any weight, not a back squat where I'm loading weight onto, a machine or a bar, just an air squat. So when we talk about doing a squat, and I'm going to put the camera down just a little bit here. So we're talking about getting our feet about shoulder width. If it's too wide, then you're going into a sumo squat. We don't want to do that. So feet shoulder width apart. And then as we're squatting down, I want to go ahead and almost like stick my butt back first and then down. So I'm coming down. I usually put my hands in front of me, whatever's comfortable here. But one of the things that you want to do is that the knees need to stay over the toes. I think that's the most important thing. A lot of times what we'll see is people start to lean forward on their toes, which is a big no-no. Or the knees will go in, which again, we don't want to see happen. And so one of the things is if we have a hard time going into this position, again, butt back, lean your weight down on your heels, I can almost bring my toes up off the ground. So I usually tell people practice this barefoot and literally watch your toes and get your toes up off the ground so that when you're coming out of a squat, you're pushing through your heels and driving up. So that'll help with your position and your lower body alignment. So I think, those are things that are really important. If you have a hard time with this and your knees are coming in, one of the things you can do is get on a wall and put a ball between your knees, and that'll keep your knees in proper position.
One of the other things that we'll do, Jill, is if you're putting a ball in between your knees, which I think is a wonderful thing. I was trying to see where mine was. But if you put it between your knees and squeeze, you're also getting you're working your adductors and your quads at the same time, and that's very good. And the other thing we're going to stress it almost every time we talk about this stuff is you're engaging the core. You got to get used to feeling those abdominal muscles firing, the butt muscles firing whenever you're
Absolutely.
doing any of this stuff. It's so important. And one of the other things we know that the weakness and when we're seeing people coming down without that stability where their knees are buckling in, especially when we go to single leg, we'll see that. But when we see that, we know it's not just the quad that's weak. It's the hip abductor and adductors that are weak. It's the hamstrings. It's everything. We talk about the whole core, and we see that.
Sure.
One of the things we were talking about off camera is that I don't let. It's one of the first things I do when we're trying to assess how somebody's ready to come back. One of the first things I do is I put them single leg and have them squat. If they can't throw a single leg squat for me, there's no way they're going back. That's like the minimal of minimalists.
Exactly.
And then adding squats on a balance pad, which I love. I think that's for me. I tell all my patients to buy balance pads for at home so they can practice that kind of stuff. But when it comes to doing proper squats, and believe me, if you do squats well enough, I mean, you were talking about doing wall squats. If you're holding wall squats for a minute or so in that isometric position, you're getting a good workout. You're not getting necessarily a dynamic workout, but you're getting a good workout, and it's working everything. So those are the kind of things that we're talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think all those points are really important. And this is one of the things that Dr. Kalawati and Dr. Dunn and I had talked about at our Runner's World Symposium at the end of last year, was there's really, we can kind of break it down into three pieces: the strength, the flexibility, and the balance. And, you know, some of us need to work on all three of them, and some people just need to work on one area. But it's really important that you know what area is your, you know, where you're deficient, and what you could work on, because that'll really help. Because if you are inflexible, for example, and you have a lot of tightness in maybe your hips, like your hip flexors in the front, well, if that's really tight, that's not going to allow you to engage your glutes. And then those big muscles back there are not going to be strong to allow you to properly squat. So all of these things go hand in hand together.
Joe, I was wondering if you could do one more thing for us. I just, you know, if you could show us the squat again, tilt your camera down, but do it from the side. I wanted to show everybody what we meant by not letting your knees get beyond your toes. So if you look, you are just exactly right over your toes. Your knee is right over your toe,
Yeah,
and
so
your
you don't
drop.
want to do this.
That's wrong. Right. Show them again.
Correct. Oh, wrong here.
That's
not
wrong.
good.
That's and the idea is you're sitting down on your butt. So that's, you know, that's perfect. That's what you want. And you really don't need to go much further down than that. I mean, especially when you're starting.
Exactly.
And, you know,
So sorry, I'm just used to doing that, but yes, you can go to parallel. If you're Dr. Dunn right now, you're yelling at me. I know that. So I like to go to parallel, but honestly, a lot of my CrossFitters are going deeper, and I yell at them all the time. But yeah, just go right here, just above parallel, and then come back up. That's totally fine.
Well, as always, you know, when I tell folks about it, listen, if you want to go beyond 90-90, if you want to go beyond parallel, you know, hey, you know, it's just better referral source for us, because we're going to see. So that's usually what I point out to them. They just sit there and go, hey, wait a minute, and they understand what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's very important.
Exactly.
It's important to do everything. You don't have to do things fast. You don't have to do everything ballistic. Obviously, you know, your CrossFitters will complain about that, but CrossFitters are in great shape before they start doing what they're doing. So, you know, for those of us that are just trying to maintain and stay in shape and maybe get into shape, you know, obviously slow, steady, and controlled is the way we want to do things.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, Joe, I think that was a great, quick little reminder for all those that are out there. We want you to get going. We want you to get going on that leg strength. You know, we're going to be released from this, you know, home, your homeward stance.
No more quarantine.
Yes, we're going to be released at some point. I can't even say it because it's like so. But
so horrible.
So we got to be ready, because, you know, hopefully some of the summer sports will be ready, and certainly fall's coming right behind it. It looks like, you know, we expect all fall sports to be going. So the way things look right now. So please stay fit. Don't get so far out of condition that you can't get back. That's like the worst thing you do. Keep your head above water and keep working hard. It's, you know, we do have a lot of time now. So try not to, you know, I'm sure everybody's almost through their Netflix binging. So yeah, it's time to start really kind of working on yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So these are just simple exercises that you can do at home without any equipment. And they are very helpful for both injury prevention and also when you're recovering from an injury, to be able to do these to get back to whatever sport you want to go back to.
Perfect. Thanks, Jill.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
See you next time.
All right.